All right, welcome everyone. Hello and welcome to Adobe Live. This is actually Monday morning, the pregame show. As you know, or you may not know, we've been doing these 3-day streams, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, all day about a specific topic. So this week is going to be graphic design. Last week, I believe, was UX design, if I'm not mistaken, but the schedule is there for you to watch and see. So if you're watching this on YouTube, great, glad to have you here, but all the action is really happening over at behance.net/live. And today, for this hour, I'm going to give you kind of like a precursor, kind of like a primer, a tutorial on how to get started with Adobe InDesign for publishing online. So last month, about a month ago, I did the pregame show for that graphic design stream. And it was really just how to get started from Adobe InDesign from scratch, like how to place images, how to do text, how to do everything. So today we're going to still do some basic things, but we're going to, like I said, focus more on the publish online. And like I said, keep in mind, this is just day one, which is just an hour, but starting tomorrow, there will be an actual graphic design stream. As a matter of fact, let me put that schedule up for you so you guys can see it. So tomorrow, starting at 9 a.m., we'll have Tina come on. She'll be hosted by Christine. And then I believe it's Nasit, if I'm saying that correctly. If not, she'll be hosted by, or he or she will be hosted by Paul Tranny. And then we have two streamers that'll be hosted by Christine again. And then the last streamer hosted by Paul. So it's all day from 9 a.m. Pacific time, starting tomorrow, till 5 p.m. Pacific time. And that's the schedule that you're going to be adhering to for the week starting tomorrow. So I'm going to be up again for the next hour, again, just getting you guys a primer, and glad to see so many of you coming into the room as well. So I saw a bunch of names. I'll give just a few shout outs here. Hello, Dean. Hello, Victoria. Hello, Oliver. Hello, Evil Cerise. Hello, Vinny. And everyone else from around the world. If I didn't give you a shout out, it wasn't personal. It's just I only have so much time. So with that said, thanks for joining me today. And let me give you also a little bit about the schedule for what we're going to do in this next hour. Let me put that up for you guys, and we'll kind of quickly go through it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to use the InDesign templates. These are free templates. I'm going to show you how to access them, how to use them, how to pull them in. If you don't have the fonts that template use, I'm going to show you how to sync those fonts. Next up, after that, then we'll be covering just basically how to make that template your own. Templates are starting points, so you don't have to live with everything in the template. You can take parts out, put new parts in, change the parts around. So you'll be able to make the template your own. And then for the last part, we'll do the publish online part. We'll cover a little bit about InDesign's animation and interactivity capabilities. We'll show you how to create some hyperlinks, how to publish your document online, and then once you share it, how to get some analytics from everything that's going on with that document that's online. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And again, I'm glad to be hosting this for you today. Hey, Sam, what's up? Great to see you in the chat as well. So B, Tim, Heidi, welcome, and everyone else, welcome, Ram, Silver, and everyone else I see in the chat. So let's get to it. Let's jump in and show you how this all works. I'm going to switch over to my computer before I forget. Sometimes I might do like 2 minutes of you just not being able to see what I'm doing. So we're not going to do that today. We're going to actually show you the computer. That's a joke. But now that you can see the computer, you can see what I'm doing. I've got InDesign already open. So I'm on the latest version of InDesign, of course, InDesign CC 2018. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new document. So the create new document is, of course, right here on the screen. You can always do it from the file menu or your keyboard shortcuts as well, as you always do. So let's go ahead and create new document. And the first tab will be your recents. This is where, it'll show you documents you've worked on or opened up or modified at some point, or even sizes of documents that you've used in the past. So all the ones that don't kind of show a graphic preview, those are just basic empty pages or default sizes that you've used. Then, of course, you have your Save tab for any saved templates that you've created or any templates you've downloaded from Adobe Stock in the past, and I've downloaded quite a few. Then you have the 3 categories. These are the categories of templates that you can pick from. And of course, there'll be different ones. Some will have it like you might see the same kind of theme in each category. Like for example, for Valentine's Day, I remember there was a print template for Valentine's Day. And there was also a mobile template for Valentine's Day. So there were 2. They weren't the same template, but there were 2 in that category. All right, the next thing. So I saw someone ask, hey, is there going to be a contest today? The contests start tomorrow. So you want to make sure you come back tomorrow for behance.net/live. That's where all the contests take place. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, if I scroll through the print templates, and it doesn't really matter which one I pick today because we're just showing how the process works. So I'll pick one probably that I haven't used before. I kind of like that pop brochure layout. That one looks kind of interesting. I like the refined stationery set. That looks pretty interesting as well. And again, these are all under the print category. And the best part about that, you see the price tag on each one of these, they're free for use. All right, I think the pop brochure is probably the one I'm going to stick with, but let's just make sure I don't see anything else that grabs me better. Ooh, I like the modern studio book layout too. I might pick that, but let's go look at some of the other categories. I got 2 favorites in this one. Let's go over to web. Now you might think, well, web, Terry, wait a minute. This is not a web design tool. Why is there a web category? Because of that publish online aspect. So InDesign lets you publish your document online, make it interactive. It converts it into an HTML5 page or pages for people to navigate through, even though you aren't designing an entire website. So that web category is specifically for templates that would work well online. So we might actually pick one of these instead. All right, so as I scroll through these, looking pretty good. And last but not least, mobile. Well, again, these could be used for online, but these are primarily templates that would work well for an ebook. So if you were going to make your own ebook, as you can see, some of them are actually ebook formatted already. These would be the templates you might want to start with. And I used to get that all the time. Whenever I would show how to make an ebook, people would always ask me, hey, can we have your template? Can we have your document? So we know what size to make it. So we know what to do with it. Now you have templates. I don't have to give you one anymore. You've got templates built in for making ebooks. All right. So, well, Silver, I'm glad you like the way I explain things. All right. So let's pick one. Again, I think web's probably going to work out best since we are focusing this segment on online. So here's one that's a pastel presentation layout. I like that. A party social media set, in case you're ready to throw a party and want to invite people online. Colorful presentations. Social media kit, that's pretty cool. I like that idea. Interactive annual report, that's pretty cool, but we're not in that annual report mode, at least not right now. Those typically happen at the end or the beginning of the year. So I think I'm going to go with the pastel presentation layout. So when I click on it, I can see a preview of it, or I can just go ahead and download it. So let's see what the See Preview does. And it does just that. It shows me a preview of what that might look like. Now I know what you're thinking. Wow, this looks all done. It's all complete, ready to go. Keep in mind that most of the templates don't actually include the photos. So the photos would be, these would be empty frames for you to put your photos in. But you can close the preview. It also shows you the size that it's going to be. It shows you the, meaning file size. It also shows you the dimensions of the layout. It says it's going to be 15 pages, which is kind of cool. It's got paragraph, character, object styles for quick customization. And the photos shown in preview are for display only and not included. That's what I was saying. So let's say I want to download that one. It's going to take a few minutes here on my internet connection to get that 2.6 megabytes down. It's already down and ready to go. Now, when I open it, I expect to get a warning letting me know I don't have the fonts. So let's see what happens. I've never used this template before, and as I expected, there's my warning. Because the template designer, in most cases, probably use fonts that it's impossible to use fonts that everyone has. And if that were the case, we only use that subset of 11 or 12 fonts that everyone has on their systems, the designs would be pretty boring. So what they did instead is they used typekit fonts that are available in your Creative Cloud subscription that you already have. In other words, because you have InDesign, you obviously have Creative Cloud, and because Typekit is a part of your Creative Cloud membership, if they just use the Typekit fonts, you're good to go. You don't have to do anything extra except click a button that says, yes, I want Fiera Sans Bold, Fiera Sans, Source Sans Bold, Italic, and Source Sans Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and click Sync Fonts. And it's doing just that. It's making those fonts available for me. As you can see, it successfully did it. The message went away. If I didn't have my notifications turned off, there would have been a little message in the upper right-hand corner. Hey, Pradeep, how's it going? I think we were just on a call a few minutes ago. Glad to see you. If it's the same Pradeep. All right, so let's go ahead and close this. And I'm going to now all the warnings went away and it's ready to go. And you're saying, well, wait, what happened to all the pretty pictures? Again, those pretty pictures are gone. So let's scroll through and see what we have. I can see we have some placeholders for images that are ready to go. I see we have a lot of sample text. Obviously, you would change this to whatever you want it to be. And it's pretty well laid out and pretty much set for us to do whatever we want to do with. Now, the first thing you might say is, well, I'm looking at this layout and I like the template. I'm even having a hard time remembering what the template looked like because out of sight, out of mind. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I want a graphic on the front page. Maybe I want to move that headline down. Maybe I don't need that second column of text. Maybe I want things moved around. That's what a template's all about. It's a starting point. It's not locked in stone. It's not something you have to adhere to. It's not something, oh, well, if I don't do exactly what the template says, the template police will come in and get me. No, you don't have to do any of that. You can actually make this whatever you want it to be. Now, I want to point out some things that are kind of tricky about the templates. Because you'll go to start doing things and you sometimes can't move things around the way you want, depending on how the template was designed. It may have things that are, for example, on the master page, which therefore they're available for you to use or see, but they're not easily editable unless you go to the master page or unlock them from the master page. So let me just see, for example, what I can do. Well, I can move that around. That's pretty cool. I can move this around. So this template is not very restrictive. It's letting me delete things, move things around. So this one, but when I click on this brand presentation and company name, oh, wait a minute. I can't mess with those because they're most likely on the master page. So let's bring up the Pages panel. And I'm going to point out one more thing. This one's not going to necessarily have this problem, but yep, this one's okay. But sometimes when you choose a print template, the people that design a print template don't know if you're going to use it in the US or abroad. So they'll put in multiple layouts, one for US like 8.5 by 11 and one for abroad like A4 size. So you will see the same pages twice in different sizes. And of course, once you're there, if there's a particular layout that you don't need, you can delete that alternate layout. Now, I don't have an alternate layout, so I don't have anything to delete. But if there was an alternate layout for the size you don't need, first thing I would do is delete that because it's just an extra bunch of pages you're never going to use. All right, we don't have that problem, but we do have things that are locked on the master page. And even if we like them, we still need to change them. For example, instead of company name, it should be our company. Instead of brand presentation, maybe I want to call it something else. So let's go to the master page, double clicking on it. And that's now where we can get to these items. And if you don't like an item, you want to change an item, this is where you go do it. Now, why does this say A? This little A here. This A denotes the page size. So this is set to do an automatic page number. This is set to do an automatic page number. So instead of A on the master page, it would actually be 1 on page 1, 2 on page 2, so forth and so on. And then, of course, we have brand presentation and company name. So let's first of all, definitely change company name to something else. Let's call it, affectionately, Adobe Live. All right, now that we got our Adobe Live in there, the next thing, instead of brand presentation, maybe I want to call it, maybe I like the idea of a social media presentation. And I want to just rename what this is going to do. Now, changing it here in this one spot, this is why we do things on the master page, because it will be automatically replicated on all the pages. So now if I go to page 1 or jump to page 5, they all say social media presentation, Adobe Live, as opposed to whatever the template said. If there are other things that you want to put on the template, like maybe your logo, maybe you want something there that's going to be there at all times that wasn't on the template. Obviously, the template won't have your logo, so therefore you might want to go in and do things that are specific to you. And Glenn, I'm glad you liked the tip. Let's go in. So, for example, let's say I want to put the Creative Cloud logo right here in the middle. Nice and small, kind of, not too overpowering. Well, first I need to go get it. So where is it? Now, I've got several libraries here. I think I've got one called logos or icons. I think it's icons. There it is. If I go to icons and scroll down, there's my Creative Cloud logo. I have a couple different versions of it. And I can, of course, just drag that right in. And it gives me the placement icon. So I can place this anywhere I want on the page, any size I want. This one time, I don't have to hold down the Shift key because it will automatically constrain the proportions for me. So if I just want to make this nice and small right here and put that little Creative Cloud logo, I even get I get guides that pop up automatically to let me know I've got it aligned in the center. Smart guides is the word I was looking for. So I've got smart guides letting me know I've got this aligned in the center, and I've got it aligned centered with the text, or not centered necessarily, but on the same line as the text that's right next to it. All right, so I've got that centered on the page, and now, again, I might want to make that just a little bit smaller. So this time I am going to have to hold down Command-Shift to make it smaller without just resizing the frame. And I'm going to zoom in on a little bit. There we go. And if you didn't know InDesign and you're looking at that, you're probably looking at that logo saying, that logo looks pretty rough. Why are the edges so jagged? Like, why doesn't that logo look cleaner? I'm sure that's probably a vector logo. Why does it look so bad? That's because InDesign has always defaulted to a kind of a draft mode for your images so that InDesign moves quickly, so that you don't have to wait a lot of time for rendering. If you want to ever see what something really is going to look like printed, especially your images, right-click on it, go to Display Performance, and this is actually on high quality display. So let's make sure we click on this one. There we go. High quality display for that one. And now that should look a little cleaner, and it will definitely look cleaner when it's presented or exported. So if there's ever something that doesn't look as clean as it should, either make sure your document's default is high quality display, or on an object by object basis, you can set it to high quality display. All right, so last but not least, let's zoom in on that one more time. And let's go ahead and just make sure we still have that centered after I was messing around with the size. There we go. All right, so now if we go ahead and go back out, we've got that on all of our pages and we're good to go. Okay, so next up, if I now choose to do anything else on these pages, I've already checked the master pages. I already know now that the only thing on the master pages is the footer item, so I can pretty much move anything else around the way I want. So for example, I'm not going to have this much text on the first page, so I can go ahead and delete this frame. I'm not going to need this footer. I can go ahead and delete that. I might want to change this to say what I want it to say. I might also want to adjust the tracking for that text. So let me go ahead and Command A, select all, and I'm going to hold down I'm going to do this from the keyboard. You can do it from the panel. You can type in mathematical numbers to make it whatever you want, but I like to do it visually. So I'm going to hold down my Option key or Alt key on Windows and hit my left arrow key. We're just going to track that a little bit closer so that the lettering is a little tighter. All right, so now that I've got that the way I want, the next thing is maybe it's time for me to now place an image. So I'm going to switch to a frame because everything comes into InDesign in a frame, whether you create one first or not, but I'm going to go ahead and create one first. And I'm going to go ahead and keep that frame the same height as my text, just to keep things balanced. Okay, so now this frame is ready to go. If I bring something into it, it's going to come in automatically at 100%. And that's okay, provided what I'm bringing in is exactly that size. And most likely it won't be. It'll either be bigger or smaller or different perspective or orientation. So what I might want to do is either A, go ahead and set this frame up for success before I even bring anything into it, or B, bring whatever it is that I'm going to bring into it and then size it after the fact. So why don't we do it both ways so you can learn? I'm going to just duplicate this frame so we can do it both ways. I don't need it twice, but just to show you. So I'm going to hold down my Option or Alt key and drag it straight up. When you hold down your Option key or Alt key in most Adobe apps, that means duplicate. So I just made a duplicate copy of that frame. And for the frame we first drew, I'm going to go up to my Object menu, Fitting, Frame Fitting Options. And what this will allow me to do is set up what I want this frame to do with the content that I put in it before I even put the content in. So I want to scale the content. I want to fill it proportionally. That's my favorite option. And what that means is it will fill the frame with the image, size the image down as small as it needs to be to fill that frame. Some of the image may be cropped off if it's not the exact same proportions. And I'm okay with that. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now I didn't do that for the frame above. So now let's go get our image that we want to use. So I'm going to go back to my CC libraries. I've got a CC library called Adobe Stock, which is where I put all my Adobe Stock images. And I think it's time we go get something new. Let's not use one of the ones I've already used. Let's use something new. So I'm going to search Adobe Stock for social media just to see what comes up. And I want to search for photos. I'm okay with vectors as well. And see if I find a good social media image for my new brand presentation. Social media presentation, I should call it. I kind of like this one. I like that other one that was up there. I like this one with the tablet. I think I'm going to pick the one with the tablet. Ooh, this one's kind of neat. I like this one. All right, that's kind of, I haven't seen that used before. I've seen people use tablets before. But I kind of like they're holding all the icons that are floating in space. All right, so now I don't know if I like it. I just want to try it. So I can either click to download a preview of it, which means I'm not paying for it. I just want to download a preview, see if I like it. If I like it, then I'll pay for it. If not, then I can delete it. Or if I know I want it, I can go ahead and license it right here from Adobe InDesign. But let's just download the preview. And when I download that preview, that will be low res. It will have a watermark on it. It will also have the file number on it. So let's go ahead and drag it in. Now, when I drag it in, I can place it in either frame. So remember the frame at the top, we didn't do anything special to it. Let's go ahead and click on that one, and that's exactly what I expected. The image came in at 100%. I can't even see the whole image because it came in at 100% and it's bigger than that frame. But if I drag that same one into the frame that we set the frame fitting options for, then I get it exactly the way it should be. I get to see the entire image. Part of it may be cropped off, but that's okay. I can always adjust the crop. So for the second one, let's say I want to see what got cropped off. I can't tell yet. If you just hover right in the middle, you get the content grabber. The content grabber, if you hold down your mouse for a couple of seconds, will show you a little preview of what it is, what's being cropped off. And it's not very much. It's maybe a fraction at the bottom or the top. And that's why I'm okay with fill frame proportional, because that little bit that it cut off wasn't important. It's okay. Now on this one, the problem is the image is 100% and it's too big for this frame. So let's go in, and we have frame fitting options up here at the top, and I want to show you the difference between them. The first one is, let me see what this one is, fill frame proportionally. That's the one we just used. The next one is fit content proportionally. What that means is don't crop anything. Show me the entire image, even if I'm going to have white space because it doesn't match the proportions. So for example, this one pretty much matches the proportions. We wouldn't see that big of a difference. But let's say I move the frame over a little bit, and now I say fit content proportionally. See how we have white space at the top and bottom because we can see the entire image. But if I said fill frame proportionally, it crops off this person's arms on the left and right a little bit, but we can, but it fills the frame. And again, if I make the frame bigger again, and I do it again, fill frame proportionally, now it fills that frame and we don't have anything left over. All right, next up. We can delete that one. We don't need it anymore. It was just to show a demo. And again, this is, we haven't paid for this one. This one has a watermark on it, file number on it. But if we ever decide we want to pay for it, a nice thing the InDesign team did was they put the ability to license the image with a nice icon right on the canvas. That way, you can just click that icon and license the image right there if you ever forgot or didn't remember which library you got it from, so forth and so on. All right. Let's see. Yes, I can see the chats. No? Evil Cerise. Let's see. Did I miss a comment? All right. Hey, fam. Okay. Can you please? All right. We're not doing character animator today, but all right. InDesign cringes you. Okay. Well, sorry about that. And all right. All right, so let me know if I missed a question over there on YouTube, and let me see how you guys are doing here on Adobe Live. Yes, it is an active bunch, and yeah, we'd be stuck with Comic Sans for everything if we had the same 11 fonts. You're right. All right, so let's continue on. Now, the next thing, of course, we can continue to work with the type. Just put in sample type for everything, just kind of letting you know where you might want to put type, but you don't have to. Just like I deleted that extra frame. Now in this case, because that frame was originally connected to the one I deleted, there's an overset problem. So the overset problem is just because there's so much sample text in this frame. Once I select all the text and delete it, the overset goes away because I'm going to replace it with what I want. So I could start typing. I can place Word documents. I can place simple text documents. Or I can just type. Now, one more thing I want to bring up. So, yes, let's just do just a few words. Yes, Adobe InDesign allows you to type right in the frame and see it, format it the way the text should appear in the final document. All right. So obviously I can keep typing. I can copy paste. I can place. I can do all those things. But let's say that I don't quite have the rest of the text yet. But I want to see what this would look like with text filling up this frame, formatted in this font, formatted this size, formatted with this much leading between the lines. So if I hit return to create a new paragraph, I always have the ability to go up to the type menu and fill with placeholder text. That will just fill out the rest of the frame with the sample text, similar to what we had before, the lorem ipsum style text. And then, of course, don't forget to replace it with the real text once you get it. The other thing I want to point out is that, let's say I continue typing. Well, obviously, I typed beyond the frame, meaning I kept typing even though I was at the end of the frame. There's no more room. So it gave me the red plus sign letting me know there's more text. And now I have the ability to fix it. I can link that text to another frame. I can go in and edit out some text so it fits. I can change the font size or whatever it takes to make it fit. Or I can make the frame bigger. Those are my options. But if I want to see how much is left, the old way you would have done that, or the not so great way to do that, I should call it, is you might temporarily make the frame bigger. So you might go like this. Well, how much is there? Oh, okay, I see how much is there, and then you undo it. But the problem with doing that is there's a lot. You're going to make it bigger. Oh, it's still not big enough. You're going to make it bigger. Oh, it's still not big enough. Meaning there could be a page worth of text in that frame that we don't see. So just making the frame bigger isn't necessarily the smartest way to see how much text you have left. So instead, put your cursor anywhere, like usually on the last line or somewhere near the end, and bring up the story editor. So edit. I believe it is, I know the keyboard shortcut, I never remember where it is in the menu. I believe it's edit with story editor or edit in story editor. Here it is. Command Y, that's the keyboard shortcut for it, or PC Control Y. And that will bring up this window that acts very much like a basic word processor. And more importantly, it shows me what's being cut off. That line right there is what would be left. And everything after it. So I would be able to scroll and scroll and scroll and see all the pages or paragraphs of text that are making this not fit. So at this point, I can now edit. I can say, well, you know what? If I made this a little shorter, but maybe taking out a couple words here, and get rid of that line. Oh, now it fits. The line went away. And as soon as I close the story editor, didn't update? Hold on, let's make sure. Oh, because the frame is not bigger anymore. Hold on. I don't know what happened to my frame, why my frame got smaller. But anyway, that should have updated so we see it. So let's go ahead and do it one more time. Command Y. That'll bring up the story editor so that if I keep typing and it goes into an overset situation, I would be able to bring up the story editor. Now we see it. Story editor. And we can see the overset happen even as we type. So it's letting me know, hey, you're typing a story in a frame. You just went past what that frame can show you. Now, let's say that we want to. Let's say that we need this text to be here. I'm going to even make it longer. So I copied and pasted even more text there. So let's close the story editor. Let's go back up. And this is why just making the frame a little bigger doesn't always work, because you keep doing that and you're still not seeing the rest. So you just know that you've got too much. So now what do you want to do? Again, we talked about all the options. Make the frame bigger. We can't. Make the font smaller. We can't. Edit out the text. Nope, it has to say what it says. So the only option left is to continue it somewhere else. So what I want to do instead is find a spot to continue it to. And right now, I've got this frame here that hasn't, that I don't, this is all sample text. I don't need it. So I can go ahead and get rid of that sample text. I'm not even sure I need to get rid of the sample text first. But anyway, I can come up here, click on the plus sign. It gives me the place gun again with that text so I can link it. And then click, and there it goes. So that's letting me know that now I've continued that text from one frame to the next. All right. Yep, Lindsay, I see what you're saying. This one is letting me see both. You're right. So now let's go in. And what if I didn't know that? Well, let's say I open up this document. Someone else gave it to me. And I see where this is, but I don't know where this continues to. I could probably go find it and figure it out. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. But if I wanted a visual indicator that lets me know where this text continues, you can turn that on. You can go up to your View menu, come down to Extras, and you can show text threads. So if you show text threads, that will give you this non-printing, non-exporting visual indicator, letting you know when you click on a frame where it continues to. So I love having that option on, just so I know where things go from one page to the next, or page to page, or on the same page. Lindsay, we see you in both places now. You're on Behance and YouTube. Welcome. All right, let's continue on. All right, now let's talk about styles, because this document, because it's a template, most likely came with some paragraph styles as well. So we're going to talk about making it your own. So let's go to, let's bring up our style panel. Let's see, I don't see it handy over there. Let's go grab it. Styles, paragraph styles. And yes, it has a lot of styles in it. It has body text styles. It has special styles. It has headlines and headers. So if I wanted to see which one this was using, Adobe Live is using headline, bold, align left. Now, why does it have that plus sign on it? Why does it have that plus sign on the end of the name? Whenever you see that plus sign, that means that while this is using a style, something changed that overrides that style. So in this case, I remember what it was. Remember when I typed Adobe Live and I didn't like the spacing? I kind of tracked it a little bit better between the spacing between the letters. So it's letting me know that this has an override on it. Now I can clear the override, and then it will go back to being spaced out. Or I could update the style with my kerning and tracking so that it becomes part of the style. I can do either one I want. All right, so if I were to go, hang on, let's get out of this. Assuming if I were to go look at this looks like it has been tracked with these values. So -35. Yep, -35 for the whole thing. So now what I want to do is I want to alter that style, and alter that style a couple different ways. I want to go in to the basic character formats, and I want to do -35. Let's preview it. And yes, so as soon as I put the -35 in, it is now, if I click OK, no longer an override because I now made that part of the style. So everywhere that headline is being used, it now just got tracked to -35, which is great. That's what I wanted. What if I also wanted to change the color for all my headlines? Same thing. Go back and edit the style. Go to character color, which is down here, character color. And then I can pick one of the colors that's already one of my swatches in the document. So if I kind of like that brown, I think that's kind of a green, the gray, whatever color I want to use, I can use. Let's stick to the brown so we can see the change visually. And now if we scroll through, every headline now uses that color. So just because the template came with style sheets that style the entire document, doesn't mean you can't change them to what you want. You don't like that font? Pick a different font. You don't like that color? Pick a different color. You don't like the kerning, tracking, leading? Change it. You can change any of these styles and without having to go and touch every single part of the document. So same thing here. If I were to click into the body text, most likely that's a body text style. It's body text left justified. If I double click on body text left justified and I were to go into the basic character formats and see that it uses Source Sans Pro regular with 20-point leading, 10-point size, and I say, I want something else. So I can go here and pick one of my fonts. I kind of like Ephra as my sans serif font, and as soon as I pick it, I see what happens. It goes in and changes everywhere throughout this document that uses that style. If I want to just, again, make it so we can see the change visually, besides the font change, because it could be subtle, then I could probably pick a different color for that. So now my text is nice and light gray. Click OK. But you know what? I don't like the light gray. The light gray is just, it doesn't show enough. I'd love to use one of the colors perhaps in my social media document. So again, I'll use one of my favorite InDesign tools, the color theme tool. I'll click on this document. It gives me a theme for that document. For that image. I can add those colors to my swatches. And if I were to now go look at my swatch panel, the color theme is there. So now if I were to go back and revisit the type, revisit that style sheet, revisit the character color, scroll down, now I can pick a different color, like the blue for all my headline or for all my body text, or the pink, or the green. These aren't necessarily great colors for type. Stick to the other ones, but just giving you the example of how you could easily change this to what you want. So I'm going to stick to this one. All right, click OK. And now we've covered quite a bit. So now it's time, and we should probably save this, by the way. One of the first things you should do, and I should have told you this up front, whenever you start working with a template, you open up that template as an untitled document. So you probably want to go in at some point and save the document with your content in it. So we're going to save this in my Creative Cloud folder, in my Adobe Live folder, intro to InDesign, publish online. And now it is time to talk about publish online. So that thing you've been waiting for is finally here. All right, so I've saved the document. Of course, it's rinse and repeat at this point. Continue to go through and place your graphics. Continue to go through, which, by the way, one more quick tip before we finish this. Let's say I go to the File menu. I choose Place, which lets me go get images from my hard drive. And let me go to my demo files, photos, landscape photos. I'm just going to grab a bunch of my landscape images. So I grabbed like several. Open. You don't have to place them one by one. So I can scroll through. I'm using my scroll wheel on my mouse. Click. Click. That's not a good one for that one. But anyway, click. 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 You can zoom through your document, placing all your images quickly so that you have something. Now, that one spot that wasn't good, it's just placement because there's only one thing in that image that's off to the left. If I hold down the content grabber, I can see the entire image and move the Coit Tower in place so we can see it. All right, so now that we got our document ready to go with some images and some content in it, let's publish it online. Yeah, color theme is awesome, Sam. I agree with you. All right, let's publish it online. How do we get this document so that others can see it, so that you can see it, so I can share it to you? Well, there's a big old Publish It Online button right there. It's right there at the top of the screen. And if it wasn't at the top of the screen, you could also get to it under the File menu. Before we do that, Maybe I want people to have a little bit of some pizzazz when they open up this first page. So instead of it just opening the page and boom, it says Adobe Live and there's an image and there's some text. Maybe I want it to kind of build those things onto the page when they open it. And Glenn, oh my God, love that tip. Glad you love it. Glenn, let's go ahead and move on. All right, so let's do this. First and foremost, I changed my mind on one thing. I don't want page 1, social media presentation, the logo, Adobe Live on the first page. So first thing I'm going to do, go to my layer or go to my pages panel, and instead of page 1 using the A master, remember the A master's got all that stuff on it, I'm going to use the one that says none and drag it onto page 1 because I want this to be a little bit more dramatic. So page 2 will still be page 2. It still has that stuff on it, but page 1 doesn't have that stuff on it. All right, now that we got that out of the way, put the pages panel away, and I'm going to switch workspaces. This is something I normally don't do in a beginning thing, but for beginners, you need to be in this workspace to take advantage of it. So I'm going to switch from the Essentials workspace to the Digital Publishing workspace because this will just put all the things you need in one spot. So if I switch to a Digital Publishing workspace, I've got my animation panel, my timing panel, my media panel. All my panels that I'm going to need to make this document interactive are all here. So first and foremost, if I wanted people to, let's go back to the master page, for example. Pages panel. Master page. Let's say I want people to be able to click on this logo and go to Creative Cloud or go to Adobe Live. So I want to make that a hyperlink. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the hyperlink panel, and I'm just going to go ahead and type in whatever URL I want them to be able to go to. So let's say we want them to be able to go to behance.net/live. All right, that's where the action's happening. And it gave me a green dot letting me know that might not be the right URL, but that URL works. It goes somewhere. All right, so now the Creative Cloud logo is assigned to that. You can highlight text and do the same thing. All right, so we made the hyperlink, which was part of the outline. I wanted to make sure we got that out of the way. Next thing, let's go in and go back to page 1, and now let's animate this. More master pages. Yes, absolutely. So the question was, so you have an A master, that means you can make a B master or more masters? Yeah, you can make different master pages with different things on them and apply them to the pages that they need to go to. All right, so let's get back to animations. Now we can animate this the way we want. So I want to select Adobe Live, go to the animation panel. And I want to say that, well, I want Adobe Live to not just be there, I want it to appear or fly in or drop down or do something cool. So you have presets. Which one do you want it to do? Fly in from the left, fly in from the top, so forth and so on. So it gives me a little preview and even a path letting me know what's going to happen here. Next, I want this text to appear. So I'm going to just say, I want the text to just simply appear. Next, I want this text to appear. Select both of those. And I want those to maybe fade in instead. And then I want this one to fly in from the left, or from the right, I should say. All right, so now before I publish this, I want to make sure that it's doing what I want it to do, that it's going to look right. So you've got this little preview icon at the very bottom. So if I hit the preview icon, make the page bigger, make the frame bigger here. There we go, and let's play it again. Oh, see, I forgot the lines and the paths and the things that are already there as well. So let's go ahead and make sure this is why we preview, to make sure we got everything. So there's that vertical line that's already there, and there's that box that's already there. So let's make sure that we got those included in the mix as well. So we're going to go ahead and say that we want that to fade in. And we want this red box that's somewhere to fade in as well. All right, let's preview it again. All right, I really wish this would stay the size that I made it, but anyway, next time I won't close it. How about that? All right, let's preview it. Okay, that kind of works. It does what it did exactly what I wanted to do, but I want to point out one more thing. Notice the order it did things. Text, 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 image, line, box. Basically the order that I told it to do them in. Well, what if I want to change the order? What if I want things to happen at the same time? I'm just going to move this over this time instead of, or actually we can dock it. All right, we'll dock it over there. Did I dock it? Oh, I don't know where I did it, where it went. But anyway, you have a timing panel. So when I select this line, it loads on page load. There we go. So there's line, there's rectangle, so forth and so on. So if I select line, I can say that line and rectangle and social media JPEG, actually let's do all of them. Let's just do these three. I want to link those together so they all come in at the same time. I don't want to have to wait for the last three things to come in. So now when we preview this, oh no, the preview panel's gone for good. I threw it away. It's buried somewhere. I stuck it over here somewhere. Now I don't see it. Oh no. All right, we're almost out of time, so I don't have time to look for it. We're just going to take, for example, that works. All right, you know what? Let's reset the workspace. There we go. All right, let's preview that one more time. There we go. I don't know where that went. It got tired of me talking about it. There we go. So let's preview that. Here it comes. And yeah, see the line and the box all came in with that graphic at the same time. That way it's just not as obvious that the line and the box are separate. And I could have linked that box to this text and this line to whatever else I wanted, or maybe get rid of the line. But you get the idea. Okay, so now that we're ready to go, publish online. So we're going to save this and we're going to hit publish online. Publish as a new document. Yes. Description, if you want to give it one. Allow viewers to download it as a PDF, even though it won't be interactive. They'll still be able to download it and read it offline. And that's it. Let's go ahead and just publish it. Uploading all my content. The document is done and ready to go. So now I can copy the URL to it. I can share it via social media. I can close this box when I'm done. And now if we go to a browser and look at this, here it comes. So I'm in Chrome. Chrome doesn't know anything about InDesign, but it converted this into an HTML5 document. If I want to get to the next page, go to the next page. I could also place movies in InDesign, and people would be able to click on the movies and play them. And we didn't put anything on that page, but you get the idea. Now, it's not responsive, but it is size aware, so it will scale down even to the smallest screens. All right, and you even have the ability to toggle on your thumbnails. The viewer does, that is, or toggle them off. And because I told them that they can download the PDF, they can download the PDF right here. All right, so that is how we get the document online. No, I didn't talk about character styles in this one, Mitch. The difference between paragraph styles and character styles, really quick, is a paragraph style formats the entire paragraph. So even if I click my cursor into the paragraph and we switch back to our Essentials workspace, Oh yeah, that's right. It's not in my Essentials workspace. Let's go to styles. Let's go to paragraph styles. So the difference is, if I click anywhere in that paragraph and click the style, it will just format the entire style sheet. However, if I want to format just a few letters or a word and I have a character style, like all caps, makes that word all caps. Didn't affect the rest of the paragraph. It just affects the individual selection that you made. So that's the difference between a character style and a paragraph style. You make them pretty much the same way. All right, next up, we got 4 minutes left. I don't want to miss one more important thing. So now you've shared your URL out. You've given it to everyone. What if people start going to your document? How do you know if anyone viewed it or not? Well, under the File menu, you've got the Publish Online dashboard. And this recently got an update. It got an update with the last InDesign update that was last week. So here's my document. Here's my last one that I just did. If I click on the stats for it, now this may not generate any stats just yet because it's so new, but it will tell me, and I can bring up a sample if I don't have this one to work. I made a screenshot of one of these before. Here, let's see if I can get up a different one. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to actually click on that one. Let's go back. It takes a few seconds to generate it, but what it will tell me is how many views I had, and more importantly, it will tell me how long they viewed, how long they read it. So the number of minutes that people stayed on the document and the average read time. Let me find a screenshot. I know I've got one because I just did this last time. Let's see if I can find it real quick. If not, hang on really quick here. There it is. All right, this is what it looks like. So you'll see the number of views, number of readers, average read time, total read time, and very new, the read times, and what devices they looked at it on. So that will basically give you all the stats you need for every published online document you do. So quick questions that normally people ask. These are hosted by Adobe, so you don't have to do anything extra. You don't have to have a URL or domain or anything. You can, here, let me close this one. You can embed your document on your website. So here we go back up to the one we just did. There's an embed option. So you can grab the embed code and put this on your own website. All right, so with that said, guys, I am out of time. It is that time. So again, just stay tuned for tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. We will be back for our 3-day stream with 4 great presenters that will be streaming throughout the day, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week. Thank you for your time and hope you got something out of this. It's been my pleasure. And you're welcome, Kat. I'm glad you like the in-depth explanations. Anita, Mitch, everyone else, Evil Cerise, thank you for being here. And I got like 15 seconds left before I'm cut off. So again, stay tuned for the graphic design stream, which kicks off tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Same place, same time, same channel. behance.net/Adobe Live. Bye, everybody.